Good morning, guys. It's Mr. Fresh Hour. Today is Monday, March 23rd. Today is not an e-learning day, but I wanted to still be reading stories to you guys even on days that you're not having to do any assignments. So today the book that I found is that I'm going to read is The Story of Ferdinand. Now, hopefully some of you guys have seen the movie Ferdinand. It was an animated story about the bull Ferdinand, and I think John Cena was the voice of Ferdinand. I've seen it. It's a really good movie, very, very funny. So this is the book that inspired that movie. So I just want you to sit back, relax, and listen to the story of Ferdinand. This is written by Munro Leaf, and the illustrations are by Robert Lawson. The Story of Ferdinand. Once upon a time in Spain. There was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. So already, as these first few pages have been happening, how is Ferdinand different from all the other young bulls his age? Like what does he like to do instead of what the bulls normally like to do? Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can sit just quietly and smell the flowers." So even Mom is trying to get him to just be like the other normal bulls. His mother saw that he was not lonesome. And because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. Oh, that's cool. So here I was thinking she was wanting him to be like all the other bulls, but this very next page is like, no, she actually was an understanding mother and let him be. She was okay with it. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. He's pretty big now. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. You can see that poster. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. So he's gotten a lot bigger, but has he changed what he likes to do yet? No. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fattest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. These are some pretty funny hats. So they're coming to find the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care, so he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Uh-oh. What do you think's going to happen next? Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him. And that is just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Look at his face. Yeah, he's definitely been stung by a bee. Wow, did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. Now, if you guys remember, those of you that have seen the movie, like what about these bullfights that all the bulls were trying to get to is actually not the place to be. Like why did they not? Why wasn't it really a good place for a bull? Think about it. What might be? We'll see how this book, if they follow similar things to the movie, we'll see. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing. And all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the bandilleros. Sorry, my Spanish isn't too good. With long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. And that's the word that Mr. Freshour wasn't able to say very well. You guys, some of you might be better at pronouncing that. Bandilleros. Banderilleros. I don't know. Next came the picadors, or maybe picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. Picadors or picadores. So far, these people, do you think this is going to be fun for the bull? Do you think this is for the bull's enjoyment or for the people's enjoyment? Yeah. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull. And you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the bandoleros were afraid of him, and the picadors were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. So he must be pretty big if they're already scared. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. Do you think that's what he's going to do? Let's find out. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers and all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the bandoleros were mad, and the picadors were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. I'm glad that was not as crazy, I think, as the movie. For some of you guys that remember the movie. And for all I know, he is sitting there still, under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. The end. All right, so the story of Ferdinand. So he grew to be this big grown-up bull, but he didn't like to do things like the other bulls did. He liked to just sit and smell the flowers. And so this misunderstanding is what caused him to get chosen to go to the heart of Spain to be in this bullfight. And so again, some of you guys might remember some of these things from the movie, but maybe for those of you that haven't seen the movie and have just only heard the story just now, how do you think it would have went down if Ferdinand wouldn't have chosen to just sit and smell flowers, and he wouldn't be fighting all the people in that bullfight? Like if he would have chosen to fight, or if a bull's in there and they're choosing to try to fight back, how do you think that goes down for the bull? Yeah, this story, I think, in some ways was very, very nice that Ferdinand chose not to fight, and that was the end of it. They took him home, and he got to live life back at home. Yeah, the movie's a little more action-packed, I feel like. But yeah, so I really like this story. It definitely is one of those stories that's all about like being true to yourself. Like, don't just try to fit in and like things or do things because other people are doing it. Ferdinand, he didn't care that he didn't like to play around and butt heads like all the other bulls did. He had things that he liked to do, and he was okay with that. And I think we all need to just be okay with who we are and be ourselves, and not let other people determine how we act or how we do things or what we like. Like, just be yourself. All right, so again, today's Monday. There's no e-learning. E-learning will start tomorrow. So make sure you keep an eye out for those assignments. I'll be posting a new document tomorrow for the day. We'll see. I might Might try to have them be specific now, like a daily thing rather than like what to do over these next few days. That might have been confusing for some of you guys. So I'll make sure to have that assignment, and I'll let you know what all you need to get done. Some of you guys really need to look back at what you haven't done yet. Now the flip grids, those are already frozen. You can't add anything, so you'll either get a grade or you won't if you did those. The Scholastic News, try to get that finished up. Some of you guys only did the quiz. Let's get all of it done. And then ReadWorks. Some of you guys haven't done ReadWorks, and I saw one person finish that late. Please, like, I'm okay if you turn those in late, but at least turn them in, because you're either getting all the effort points or 0 effort points. So just do the work, please. I think that's it. So I'll let you know what's coming up in those assignments. So email me if you have any questions. I'll talk to you later. Bye.